King's Speech today, and Labour is set to what they say is taking the brakes off Britain during the King's Speech as part of the state opening of Parliament.
Well, alongside all of the traditional pomp and ceremony of the event, Labour is going to outline their political agenda just 2 weeks after coming to power.
35 bills are expected to be unveiled, which will see King Charles reading out the list from the House of Parliament.
Well, very soon we'll be hoping to speak to the former Mayor of Middlesbrough and a political commentator about all of this and get his views on what will prove to be, I think, an interesting day. It will sort of set the tone for the next couple of years in Parliament. And obviously we're not that far from the summer holidays, so there's sort of quick election, quick King's Speech, and there'll probably be parliamentary recess while everybody sort of catches their breath before a big autumn statement
to the
as well.
government, they seem to be in a hurry. They know they've got a lot to do. And, you know, even the very first weekend, they worked the Saturday, the Sunday, despite all those stories we were getting that Starmer wanted his weekends off. But they've got a lot to do, and they're getting down to it. The former Mayor of Middlesbrough and political commentator Andy Preston is available now. Andy, would you agree with that? They're in a hurry. They have things to do. No time to waste.
Yes, absolutely, Eamon. Deliver has been used before, and it's really true. And Tony Blair, of course, explained that you have to get the difficult stuff done first. But you know what? I expect to see this to be dull, steady, non-controversial. Labour don't need to give any detail out today. So I think it's going to be like their campaign, steady, dull, lacking in any detail.
Lacking any surprises then as well?
I think that the only controversy that we're likely to see emerge today and in the coming days and weeks is all about the two-child benefit cap. This is going to really bite Labour. What's really interesting, quite rightly, they've said that they can't afford to do it, but there's a huge pressure from the left of the party, from the Lib Dems and from others to bring this in. The way I think they'll play it, sorry to interrupt you, the way I think they'll play it, rather than saying that they will change their minds and scrap it, I think they'll make noises saying that when they can afford it in the next few years. Sorry, please go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say it's already causing problems, isn't it? And people like Angela Rayner being asked yesterday about it, and she said she feels very uncomfortable, but she's confident that they will scrap it before she's out of office. So that was a commitment of some sort from her, if not going to be in the King's Speech. What seems to be garnering lots of headlines this morning on at least two of the papers is this focus on, I guess, what you would call supply-side reforms, trying to get growth through house building. And lots of concerns, I suppose, are going to be raised by people who will feel as though their power to object to things are going to be taken away under Labour. If you live near Greenbelt, you might be rightly quite concerned from today, mightn't you?
Absolutely. And if your priority in your domestic life is to keep looking out over green fields, I think there's bad news coming. I think the housing is coming, but it will take much longer than Labour expect. These things take forever. Even if you have the legal power, building houses is so controversial that politicians, they always run scared, especially the locals. And what I think we'll see over the coming years, not the next few weeks, the coming years, we're going to see new Labour MPs and new Lib Dem MPs who've got in on the back of frustration about house building and expansion of their towns. We're going to see a rebellion underneath them in the electorate, which causes them to get on board and rebel against the government. So the house building is going to be a major issue for Labour, but not today, probably in the next 18, 24 months.
Andy, used to run Middlesbrough, former Mayor of Middlesbrough, and forgive me for not knowing this, but yesterday, of course, the announcement was made about more devolution to local areas, giving them more independence, more power. I'm not sure how much power Middlesbrough has, but my question to you is, how much power would you want to have?
I think, you know what, Eamon, if you ask local councils, local people, they will say, give us more and more and more power. One of the challenges with that, although it's democratically fantastic, one of the challenges is the more that the local politicians are accountable and visible and can't blame central government, the more likely they are to get kicked out at the next election. People are always looking for someone to blame. And what happens is central government regularly blames local government for stuff, and local politicians blame central government. Say, if only I had the money, if only I had the power. Once they've got the power, I think that they will attract frustration, anger, and get voted out. So I think you've got to be very careful what you wish for. But interestingly, despite successes and economic growth in Manchester, Liverpool, and places, it's not clear that that's come about because of devolution of power. Whether devolution leads to increased economic growth is very much a topic of discussion, and certainly isn't clear. So while it's popular with central government because they're passing on responsibility for difficult things, difficult decisions to a local level, it's not clear it actually benefits local areas economically.
Speaking of the economy, we've got inflation figures coming out this morning, which are likely to be positive. And obviously we had the IMF forecasts yesterday, which were hugely favourable. And they were predicting that growth was going to more than double next year and that our economy is going to grow faster than the likes of Germany and I think and Germany and France. So that's got to be really pleasing for the government. They can't claim any sort of reason for that other than they just inherited it, but it will help them, won't it?
It will massively help them. I mean, both Labour and the Tories, their election pledges, their promises on spending were premised on economic growth that is somewhat beyond their control in the medium term, certainly in the short term. So Labour are very lucky, very fortunate. It's going to be great for them and great for the country. And it's going to make all of the things they want to do more possible. What's interesting, I saw a poll yesterday on Twitter, and it was talking about the economic growth picking up. And the question was, do you think this is because we've got a new Labour government? And over half of the people said yes. So when there's economic growth, the government in power usually gets the credit. So this is great news for Keir Starmer, Angela Rayner, and the whole Labour Party.
King's speech from 11 today. I think the King makes that speech about 11:30. Andy, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate talking to you.